What is going on? It is a Sunday evening, and it's day 19, evening 19 of the 4 and 30 day challenge. And what do I want to talk about today? Today I want to talk about what information is important to retract when talking to a potential seller, when talking to a homeowner, someone who's looking to sell their home. Now, there's lots to know. Some big ones is, what their situation, of course. Is there repairs that need to be done to the property? How quick are they looking to sell? Stuff like that. That's really important. But there's eight factors or 8 specific things that you want to find out about this property that are going to help you determine if this property is worth a certain amount of money, and you can compare it to other properties in a similar area. So there's 8 things that you really want to know, so you can, I've got an itchy nose right now, so you can compare it to other properties. You can pull the right comparables, right? So we're going to go through that 8 right now. I want to tell you those 8 that I look for. If you look for other things and you want to shoot them down in a message below, feel free. Would love to hear it. But if you're new at the investing game and you want to kind of know, well, what do I look for when I'm looking at a property? These 8 details of a property are huge, and know these so you can compare them and look at other properties for these. I was actually just talking in one of my coaching sessions with one of my students about this, and it makes it a lot more clear to understand, okay, like that's how I can tell how much this will be worth when I fix it up. Or if I refinance it and rent it out, right? So first things first, bedrooms. You want to know how many bedrooms are in the property. Bathrooms, how many bathrooms do we have in the property? You want to know the square footage of the property. Square footage is a big one. So square footage, you could have a 3-bedroom being the same square footage as a 2-bedroom. So if it's the same square footage, keep that in mind. The bedrooms, all of these have their inner quirks or their inner ways of looking at them, but knowing these first step is important. So square footage. We also want to know the basement style. So is it a full basement? Is it a half basement? A quarter basement? A partial basement? A crawl space? Right? We need to know what type of basement it is, because if you got a full basement property and you're trying to compare that to a half basement property, that's not going to fly, right? They're not going to be worth the same amount. It's not going to be the same value for the purchaser buying this property when it's done, right? I'm not going to pay, if a house costs $300,000 with a full basement, I'm not going to pay $300,000 for a half basement. I want that full basement, right? I want that man cave. So what are we at? We're at bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, basement. What style of basement is it? What's the parking? Number 5, what's the parking? Is it a parking pad? Is it front access? Is it a garage? Single detached? Attached? Double? Right? So you really want to know what the garage portion or the parking situation is for this property. Number 6, the lot. What's the lot size? Lot in some certain situations, maybe a 25-foot frontage compared to a 40-foot frontage. Maybe there's not a crazy amount of difference in value, but if you get a 25-foot frontage and a 50-foot frontage, well, now it can change because you have a double lot. That's double the size. So there's a different value there. But even with a 40-foot lot, lots of people like a big lot. So keeping that in mind when you're doing your comparables. So you got your lot. And where are we at? Bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. We got basement style. We got the parking, which is the garage. We got the lot size. We're missing 2 more. The year build. So 7. Year build of the property. In my opinion, this is number 1. This is number 1. I've talked to a lot of different opinions out there, and they don't seem to think it's as big a deal as I do. Unless the property is a burn property or you're like gutting it and rebuilding inwards out, which I then think they should change the year build, because you're changing pretty much everything. The year build is super important to me. If you have a 1900 house and you're trying to compare that to a 1950 house, it's uncomparable. That's 50 years older than a house you're trying to compare it to. It's just, I just, you know, when I'm looking at comparables, I 100% need the year to be relatively the same, or else I am adjusting my after value, and I am adjusting what I think it's going to be worth afterwards. So that's number 7. And number 8, what are we missing in number 8? The style. That's right, style of the house. So is it a bungalow, story and a half, story and 3/4, 2-story, right, 2.5, 3-story? 3 stories, big house. But you want to know the right style of the house, because if you're comparing a bungalow to a story and a half, it's a different house, right? If you have to, you have to, and then you're going to adjust and try and reason with what the value difference might be, and there's other ways of doing that. But you want to ideally, hands getting sore again, you ideally want to compare same to same, right? That's the best way of doing it. So let's run through these one more time before day 19 video comes to an end. Oh, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Number 3, basement. Number 4, what kind of basement do we got? Parking, what's the parking situation? Garage, parking pad, all the above, right? Know that situation. The lot size, what's the lot size? Width and depth, know that. Year build, what era was this house built in? And number 8, what is the style of the house? Bungalow, story and a half, 2-story. What does it compare? When you're doing your comparables, it's just compare them to the same type of property, as close as you can get, you know, because I've seen way too many people trying to compare things that just aren't the same, and that's risky. That's when it starts getting risky. So be a smart investor, compare things to the same, and go get it. Have an amazing evening and a great Monday morning tomorrow.